Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've got another button for you today, and as you can see, this one is continually changing color. That's going to get people's attention fairly quickly. And when we hover over it, it's just going to grow a bit and continue to change color. Now, to do this effect today, we've got to write a bit of custom code. Don't let that put you off. Any code that I write today I'll put below the video, and you're welcome to use it and manipulate it how you want. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is enable the Visual Builder. Once enabled, let's go down to where we want to add our button. Right here I've got a section with a row with 2 columns in it. I'm going to add my button to the second column here. I'm going to add a simple button module which is part of the Divi theme here. Right there, and as you can see, it's added a button. Now mine's purple by default because that's the way I've got it set up in the theme customizer. To get to the theme customizer, go down to your dashboard, down to Divi, and you'll see theme customizer. You can also get to it via appearance and customize, and it'll bring up this. And to set your button states, if you want a different one from a default, if we go back to our root, and if you go down, there's buttons right there, and you can set your regular style and hover style. But I'm going to leave mine as is for today because we're going to write some changes with additional CSS down at the bottom here. This is where we're going to put it in. Okay, so here's our new button. Put in what you want to say up here. And the link just down below. Obviously you can link your button where you want to take people when they click on it. If you're taking them to your own site or within the same site, keep it in the same window. If you're going to a new site, open it in a new tab so your site stays open. Okay, well let's move on to the design tab. And at the moment mine's on the left, you can put it on the right. I think I'll put mine in the middle. Text, I really don't want to change anything at the moment. Now the button style itself, you can completely customize the colors here and everything, but for me I really don't want to do much because, like I say, we're going to be writing a bit of CSS in a moment, and we're going to overwrite most of the styles here. I am going to make it a little bit thicker, and there's an icon that appears when you hover over it. I've got no hover background color. If I just put one in there for a second, button background, to get a hover state up, once you hover over the dark legending there, hit the little arrow and you can put in a background color for the hover. I'll take this away again in a moment. As you see, when I hover over it, it's got a little icon there. I don't particularly want that. I'm going to take that color back away, and I'm not going to have a border either, so I'm going to take that border away. And it looks like the button's disappeared. It's because we've got no background and border. If we go back to desktop state, there it is, the regular purple button. But I do want to make it a bit sort of fatter and bigger. And I do want to turn that icon off. So to turn the icon off, just flip that switch there. Or if you want to change the icon, choose whatever you want from Elegant Themes icons right here. And if you want it to show all the time, just turn that to no. Only show icon on hover. No, want to see it all the time. But I don't want an icon, so I'm going to switch mine off. Okay, spacing. Let's make this button a little bit bigger. So padding top and bottom, let's give it, say, 20 pixels top and bottom. Put in the 20, it'll put in the pixels for you. Hit the chain, it'll do the opposite side. And let's say give it 30 pixels left and right. And again, I'm going to hit the chain to do the opposite. There we are. We've got a bit more of a chunky button to see our colors with there. Great. Well, I'm not going to do anything else to it here, apart from at the bottom is transform. I want it to grow when we hover over it. I want it to become a lot bigger. So again, if we roll over the dark legending there, we've got a little arrow so we can set a regular state and a hover state when our mouse is over it. When my mouse is over it, I want to make it about 30% bigger. That's fine, 130. Great. Okay, well let's start writing some code now. We want to give this a class so we can target it with CSS. So let's go in there and we'll go to our Advanced tab, go to CSS IDs and classes. I'm going to give it a class, something that makes sense to you. So I'll say btn for button color. So we can target that with some custom CSS now. Let's save this. And we'll save our page changes here. Now let's go back to our customizer. I'll have to refresh because our button wasn't there originally. Let's go down to our custom CSS or additional CSS. Okay, we gave this button the class of button color. So its class always has a dot or a period in front of it, and it's btncol is the name we gave it. So it's a period followed by the class name. Let's open and close some curly brackets, and within those brackets is where we're going to write our code. Like I said, I'll put this code down below the video. You can copy it, so don't worry too much about doing it in real time while I'm doing it here. And we've got to create an animation to get these colors going like we've got here. So first thing we need to do is give our animation a name. So we'll say animation dash name, and let's call it bcol for button color, semicolon. Then we've got to tell it how long we actually want the duration to last, how long we want it to take from start of the animation to the end. I'm going to go for about 5 seconds, so I'm going to say animation dash duration, and let's say 5 seconds. Also, you can put in what you want, what works for you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 3 or 4 different colors, and it's going to go from one to the next to the next, but I want it to continue back to the first one again. So I want it to be infinite, keep going round and round. I don't want it to just stop when it gets to the last color. So I'm going to give it an iteration count of infinite. So animation iteration count infinite. So it'll keep going round and round and round and round, which is just what I want. Great. Well, let's actually create the animation itself now. So we'll go down one, and we've called it bcol. So let's create that, and it's going to be at keyframes and the name, which is bcol, button color. Let's open and close some curly brackets, and again within this is where we've got to write the color changes that we want. So let's start at 0%, and we'll open and close some curly brackets. What do we want when it starts off? Well, let's give it a background. Just for argument's sake, I'm going to put blue in, and as you can see, that's turned blue now. It's actually going from the purple that we've got in the background color to the blue. Now if we just wanted to put one more in, let's put a semicolon in. You always put a semicolon after your last line of code. If you don't, it won't read the next one. It's okay if you're not adding another one, but it's a good idea to put it in. Just for argument's sake, I'm going to copy this first one. I'm going to drop down, paste it in there. Let's say at 50%, halfway through the animation, we want it to be red. So let's change that to red. As you can see, it's now changing blue to red, and then going back to the default color there. And it'll keep going around and doing that. If you slow it down, you get all kind of different colors between the blue and the red, more purple. So if I was to make that 15 seconds, you see the fade between the blue and the red's a lot different there, and it gives you sort of separate colors in between the colors right there. But I'm going to keep mine to 5 seconds, and let's just add some more colors. Rather than just having 2, you can add pretty much as many as you want. So instead of 50%, let's say 40%, and we'll add another one of those. And let's change this one to whatever you want to change it to. I'm going to change mine to 75% through the animation. Make sure I put on the percent at the end there. And let's perhaps make this one green. Now it's going to be changing from blue to red to green, as you can see there. And there's a little flash as it turns back to that default color of purple because it doesn't know where to go after the 75. And to stop that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my first color, the blue, at 100%, so it ends on the same color as it starts, which should make it fairly seamless. So I'm going to copy this one more time again, Control C, drop down. Now let's make this 100. Let's turn this one to blue. And as you can see now, it's starting off at blue, going to red, then going to green, then going back to blue again. So it's fairly seamless. So let's save our changes here. Let's publish. Let's go back to our page. Save our page changes here. And exit the Visual Builder. And there's our button. It's color changing. It's actually in sync with our other button, looks like there. Now when we hover over it, it's going to grow as well and continue changing colors. And that's going to get people's attention pretty much there. Like I say, change the colors, put in what you want. You can use hexadecimal colors, RGBAs, whatever you want. But that's a pretty striking effect to have on your buttons. So I hope you've enjoyed that today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.